What if I told you that the most potent, creative, and divine force you possess is the very same one you've been taught to either suppress in shame or squander in fleeting moments of pleasure? What if the key to unlocking your highest potential, to achieving unparalleled financial success, to forging an unbreakable will, and to experiencing a spiritual connection so profound it shakes the very foundation of your reality, lies dormant within the most primal, misunderstood, and powerful energy you harbor, your sexual energy? You've clicked on a video titled, "What Happens After 21 Days Without Ejaculating? Science Explains," and you're likely expecting a list of biological benefits, a discussion of testosterone levels, and perhaps some tips on self-control. And we will touch upon the science, but to stop there would be like staring at the finger pointing to the moon and ignoring the celestial glow itself. The science is merely the doorway, the entry point into a realm of understanding so vast and transformative that it has been whispered about in secret societies, encoded in ancient esoteric texts, and harnessed by the most influential and powerful figures in human history. What truly happens after 21 days is not just a biological shift. It is an alchemical one. It is the beginning of a journey into the heart of your own power, a journey that Napoleon Hill, in his timeless masterpiece Think and Grow Rich, dared to call the transmutation of sexual energy. This isn't about celibacy. This isn't about repression. This is about mastery. It's about understanding that the very same fire that can burn down a village in a blaze of compulsive, unconscious desire can, when harnessed and directed, forge the steel of a warrior's resolve and illuminate the path of a king. We live in a world that is simultaneously obsessed with and terrified of sex. Society has conditioned us to see our own life force through a fractured lens. On one hand, we are bombarded with a hyper-sexualized culture that reduces this sacred energy to a mere commodity, a recreational activity, a momentary release from the crushing boredom and anxiety of modern life. It's a quick fix, a dopamine hit that leaves you emptier than before, caught in a cycle of craving and fleeting satisfaction. On the other hand, we inherit millennia of religious and cultural conditioning that has branded this same energy as sinful, shameful, and impure, a force to be denied control through fear and relegated to the shadows of our psyche. In both scenarios, we are left powerless, disconnected from the true nature of this incredible gift. We are either slaves to its unbridled expression or prisoners of its repression. But what if there is a third way, a path less traveled, a path of conscious alchemy? Napoleon Hill, after studying over 500 of the most successful men of his time, men like Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, and Henry Ford, discovered a common thread, a secret they rarely spoke of openly, but practiced with unwavering discipline. He found that their immense drive, their relentless creativity, their magnetic charisma, and their seemingly superhuman ability to manifest their visions into reality all stemmed from one source: their learned ability to consciously redirect their sexual energy away from purely physical expression and channel it into their creative faculties and their grandest ambitions. This is the art of sexual transmutation. It is the practice of taking the raw, primal, and immensely powerful energy of desire, the very energy responsible for the creation of all life, and elevating it, refining it, and directing it towards a higher purpose. Think of it as an internal alchemy. The alchemists of old sought to turn lead into gold, a metaphor for the transformation of the base and conscious self into the enlightened, fully realized self. The transmutation of sexual energy is the most practical and potent form of this alchemy available to every single human being. The raw energy, the lead, is the instinctual, biological urge for release. It's a powerful force, a fire that demands to be expressed. When left to its own devices, this fire burns chaotically. It manifests as compulsion, addiction, lust, and a constant, nagging restlessness. It drives you to seek endless external validation, to chase fleeting pleasures, to become a ghost in your own life, perpetually haunted by a hunger that can never be truly satiated. You scroll through endless feeds, you chase empty encounters, you lose yourself in the pixelated abyss of pornography, and with every click, with every swipe, with every hollow release, you are draining your life force. You are giving away your power, your vitality, your very essence, for a flicker of sensation that leaves you weaker, foggier, and further from the man you were born to be. But what happens when the alchemist, the conscious individual, the warrior of the spirit, steps in? He doesn't try to extinguish the fire. He knows that to do so would be to extinguish his own vitality, his passion, his very will to live. Repression is not mastery, it is cowardice. It is the act of locking a wild beast in a cage in your basement. You may not see it, but you can hear its rage, you can feel it shaking the foundations of your house. And you know that one day it will break free, more monstrous and uncontrollable than before. The true master, the alchemist, does not cage the beast. He builds a sacred furnace. He honors the fire. He learns to tend to it, to understand its nature, and to channel its immense heat towards a specific purpose. He provides the fire with a higher ideal to consume, a greater vision to full. This is the essence of transmutation. You take the raw, explosive energy that you feel in your loins, the electricity that courses through your veins when you feel desire, and you consciously, through the power of your will and imagination, draw the energy upwards. You pull it from the lower centers of instinct and survival and guide it towards the higher centers of creativity, intuition, and spiritual connection. The energy that would have been expended in a moment of physical release is now retained, cultivated, and repurposed. It becomes the fuel for your ambition, the clarity in your mind, the magnetism in your presence. Let's look at what happens on a practical, tangible level when you embark on this 21-day journey. Not as an act of deprivation, but as an act of profound self-investment. The first few days are often the most challenging. This is where you come face to face with the beast you have created, the conditioning of a lifetime, the deeply ingrained habits of seeking instant gratification will rise up in rebellion. Your mind will concoct 1,000 reasons why you should give in. It will tell you it's natural, that you need it, that you're depriving yourself. This is the voice of your shadow self, the compilation of all your unexamined impulses and addictions. This is your first test as the warrior. It is here that you must draw your sword of awareness and cut through the illusion. You must observe these urges without judgment, but also without obedience. You are not your urges. You are not your urges. You are the consciousness that observes them. By simply holding your ground, by choosing not to act on the impulse, you begin the process of rewiring your brain. You are teaching your nervous system that you are the master, not the slave. You are reclaiming your throne. As you move past the initial week, something remarkable begins to happen. The frantic, chaotic energy of compulsion begins to subside, and in its place, a new kind of energy emerges. It is a steady, powerful, and deeply centered force. You start to wake up in the morning with a clarity of mind you haven't experienced in years. The brain fog lifts, your thoughts become sharper, more focused. Your ability to solve complex problems increases, as the mental energy that was once consumed by obsessive, lustful thoughts is now available for higher cognitive functions. This is not mystical woo-woo, it is observable reality. Think of the immense amount of creative and intellectual energy required to constantly fantasize, to seek out stimulation, to engage in the act of release, and to recover from it. It is a massive drain on your system. When you plug this leak, you suddenly have a surplus of vital energy at your disposal. This is the energy Napoleon Hill spoke of. It is the energy that Thomas Edison channeled into his countless inventions, the energy that Nikola Tesla harnessed to envision technologies that were a century ahead of his time. They understood that genius is not something you are born with. It is something you cultivate by learning to direct the most powerful creative energy in the universe. This newfound energy will not sit idle. It is life force itself, and it demands expression. If you do not give it a conscious direction, it will find its own, often in the form of anxiety, irritability, or aggression. This is why the journey of transmutation must be paired with a clear and compelling purpose. What is your grand obsession? What is the one thing you would dedicate your life to, even if you were guaranteed to fail? What is the masterpiece you were born to create? Is it building a business, writing a book, composing music, becoming a leader in your community, perfecting a craft? This is where you must direct the fire. You must give your harness and energy, a noble cause to serve. You must transmute the desire for a woman's body into the desire to build an empire. You must transmute the hunger for fleeting pleasure into the hunger for lasting legacy. You channel this potent energy into your work, your workouts, your meditations, your creative projects. You will find that you have a stamina, a resilience, and a creative wellspring you never knew you possessed. Your workouts will become more intense, your focus at work will be unbreakable, and your creative insights will flow with an effortless grace. You are no longer just working, you are creating from a place of immense power and vitality. You are infused with what Hill called personal magnetism. Magnetism is one of the most profound and tangible effects of sexual transmutation. It's a change in your very presence, your aura. When you are constantly depleting your life force, you carry an energy of neediness, of lack. You are unconsciously seeking something from the world, from others, to fill the void within. People can feel this on a subconscious level. It repels them. But when you are full, overflowing with your own cultivated vital energy, your energetic signature changes completely. You radiate a quiet confidence, a centeredness, a self-possession that is incredibly attractive. You no longer seek validation, you embody it. You become a magnetic force. People, both men and women, will be drawn to you. They won't know why, but they will feel the power and stability in your presence. Your words will carry more weight, your eye contact will be more penetrating, and your very being will command respect. This is not about becoming an alpha male in the superficial sense. This is about becoming an archetypal king, a man who has mastered his own inner kingdom, and therefore rules his outer world with wisdom, integrity, and power. He is not ruled by his passions. He has made his passions his most loyal and powerful servants. This journey inevitably leads you into the depths of your own psyche. It forces you to confront your shadow. As you sit with the discomfort of your unfulfilled urges, you begin to see what lies beneath them. You see that the compulsive need for release was never really about sex. It was a desperate attempt to numb your pain, to escape your anxiety, to feel a profound sense of emptiness. Every time you felt lonely, you sought a fleeting connection online. Every time you felt like a failure, you sought a momentary feeling of power in a fantasy. Every time you felt the terrifying silence of your own being, you filled it with the noise of manufactured pleasure, the pornography, the casual encounters, the masturbation. They were all just symptoms of a deeper spiritual malady. They were an anesthetic for an unlived life. This realization is both terrifying and liberating. It's terrifying because you can no longer hide from your own pain, from your own inadequacies. But it's liberating because you finally understand that the key to healing is not in finding a better form of escape, but in turning inwards and facing the void. You begin to see that every desire carries a message. The intensity of your desire is a direct reflection of the intensity of your untapped potential. The man who feels an overwhelming sexual urge is not a pervert. He is a man who is pregnant with a powerful creative force that is begging to be born. His mission, should he choose to accept it, is to become a midwife to his own genius. He must ask himself, what does this energy truly want to create? What masterpiece is crying out to be built through me? The emptiness you try to fill with pleasure is, in fact, a sacred space. It is the womb of creation. By ceasing to fill it with distractions, you allow the seeds of your true purpose to finally take root and grow. You begin the process of emotional healing, of reparenting yourself. You learn to give yourself the love, the validation, and the sense of security you were desperately seeking from others. You become your own source. This is the path of the true warrior, the spiritual alchemist. He dives into the abyss of his own shadow, not to be consumed by it, but to retrieve the gold that lies hidden in its depths. He integrates his darkness, understands it, and in doing so, becomes whole. This process is a profound spiritual awakening. As you purify your vessel, as you stop leaking your vital energy, your consciousness begins to operate at a higher frequency. Your intuition becomes sharper. You start to experience synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that guide you along your path. You feel a deeper connection to life, to nature, to the universe itself. You realize that the energy you have been cultivating within you is a microcosm of the creative energy that animates all of existence. The Hindus call it Kundalini, a divine serpent power that lies coiled at the base of the spine. When awakened, it travels up the central channel, activating the higher chakras, or energy centers, leading to enlightenment and self-realization. The transmutation of sexual energy is the most practical method for awakening this dormant power. You are not just building a better life in the material world, you are building a bridge to the divine. You begin to understand that you are not just a body seeking pleasure. You are a soul having a human experience, and your sexual energy is the sacred fuel for your journey back to the source. The desire for union with another, in its highest form, is a reflection of the soul's longing for union with God, with the Absolute, with the totality of being. By transmuting this energy, you begin to experience this divine union within yourself. You become the lover and the beloved, the masculine and the feminine, Shiva and Shakti, united in a sacred dance within your own consciousness. This is not an easy path. It demands discipline, courage, and an unwavering commitment to your own evolution. There will be moments of intense struggle, moments when you will be tempted to return to the old ways, to the comfort of your addictions. The world will constantly try to pull you back into unconsciousness, to sell you its cheap thrills and empty promises. That is why having a map, a guide, and a community of like-minded souls on the same journey is not just helpful, it is essential. You need to immerse yourself in this knowledge, to constantly reinforce your resolve, to be reminded of the incredible power you are working with. This journey of transforming your inner world to create a magnificent outer reality is the very heart of what we explore on this channel. It's a continuous unfolding of ancient wisdom and modern science to unlock human potential. If what I'm saying resonates with you, not just in your mind, but in that deep quiet place in your soul that recognizes truth when it hears it, then this is your invitation to go deeper. This is more than just a video. It is a call to adventure, a doorway to your own becoming. To ensure you don't miss the next steps of this journey, the deeper explorations into these transformative practices, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and, just as importantly, to ring that bell. Think of it as an act of commitment to yourself, a declaration to the universe that you are ready to stop being a passive consumer of content and start being an active creator of your own reality. By ringing that bell, you are not just getting a notification, you are signaling your own inner warrior that it's time to stay vigilant, to stay connected to the path you are now consciously choosing. Let this be your first act of transmutation, turning a simple click into a powerful statement of intent. As you approach the 21-day mark and continue beyond, you will notice a fundamental shift in your perception of reality. You no longer see women as mere objects of desire, but as fellow souls on their own journey, radiating their own unique energetic signature. You can appreciate beauty without the compulsive need to possess it. You develop a profound respect for the feminine principle, both in the world and within yourself. You move from lust to love. Lust is the desire to take, to consume, to use for one's own gratification. Love, in its highest form, is the desire to give, to serve, to uplift. A man who has mastered his sexual energy becomes a pillar of strength and a source of inspiration for everyone around him. His presence is healing. His touch can be transformative. He has learned to channel his immense power not for selfish gain, but for the betterment of the world. He becomes a co-creator with the divine, a conduit for creative intelligence to flow into the world. This is the ultimate secret. The man who dominates his sexual energy is not the one who denies it, who castrates himself spiritually. That is a man living in fear. The true master is the one who has had the courage to walk through the fire of his own desire, to face the dragon of his primal instincts in its lair. He has looked it in the eye, not with aggression, but with understanding and love. He has learned to ride the dragon. He has integrated its immense power, its fire, and its passion, and has yoked it to the chariot of his higher will. He has traversed the abyss of his own lower nature and has emerged on the other side, not burned, but purified. He has transformed the poison into medicine, the lead into gold, the demon into a divine ally. He understands that the very energy that can create a child can also create a symphony, an empire, a new paradigm of thought. It is all the same creative force, differentiated only by the level of consciousness through which it is expressed. So, what happens after 21 days without ejaculating? The science can point to increased testosterone, improved mental clarity, and physical vitality, and these things are true. They are the initial fruits of your labor, but they are merely the shadows cast by a much greater light. What truly happens is that you begin a process of reclaiming your soul. You stop being a leaky vessel, spilling your life force into the sands of meaningless distraction, and you become a brimming chalice filled with the sacred wine of your own cultivated power. You stop being a slave to the matrix of biological and social conditioning, and you become the architect of your own destiny. You awaken the sleeping giant within you, the inner hero, the divine warrior who has been waiting for you to call him into action. You stop looking for salvation outside of yourself, and you realize that you are the one you have been waiting for. The power to create the life of your dreams, to achieve your highest purpose, and to experience a joy and a fulfillment that is beyond all understanding has been within you all along, coiled at the base of your spine, waiting for you to have the courage to turn your gaze inward and begin the great work of alchemical transformation. Your journey does not end at 21 days, it begins. It is a lifelong path of growth, mastery, and self-realization. The question is no longer what will happen. The question is, are you ready to begin? Are you ready to claim the power that has always been your birthright? The fire is waiting. The world is waiting. Your own highest self is waiting. Step into the furnace. It is time to forge your soul.